listening to the Agent Survival Guide podcast, a podcast for today's insurance agents. Informing, educating, empowering, improving the way you do business in an industry that's anything but static. In today's episode, we are continuing to pull out the sage advice we have heard over the past year from our podcast guests. This time around, we are highlighting advice for agents who've seen a few enrollment seasons and are looking to elevate their efforts. Again, the answers to this question always vary, which I love. But there are some real gems that deserve their own episode to shine. This time around, we'll start out with Scott Zimmerman from the episode Operating from a People-First Mentality.
I have different thoughts. Okay, so my thought is on that. I have had a lot of people reach out to me who've been in the business a long time, 5, 10 years, and they're doing it part-time. They're still trying to figure it out. Mm-hmm. And another thing that I learned from actually my business partner is when you look out for other people before yourself, it's amazing what happens. When I go into a meeting, whether it's a center of influence, somebody's going to refer, I can feel that we can refer each other business, financial planners or estate planning attorneys or CPAs. I'm always looking out for them first. Like my question usually is like, what kind of client are you looking for most? What's a good fit for you? Just asking clarifying questions for me, because I deal with so many people. How can I give them business first? I find when I do that, asking those questions, thinking about the other people first, I get more in return by doing that. I'm always thinking about others first. And I think it's a mind shift to the other people you're talking to, not only talking about yourself, but them. If I believe that there's a relationship there, I always do try and give. It comes back tenfold. I've heard that a zillion times growing up. Hey, what you give comes back tenfold. I really do believe it. I really do. It's not like one of those myths or sayings, you know, like, so I think that's what I would say for people who've been in the business a little bit longer, changing the mind shift.
And that's something, to be quite honest, you can use that type of mindset as you're meeting, not just with affinity partners or potential partners, but your clients as well, to establish that relationship with them and kind of think relationship first. And then, the business aspect of it second.
I think you just said it, relationship first. Yeah, we're on the same page there. I will say, and I mentioned my business partner. I've had the same business partner for 25, 26 years. And he's been in the business a little bit longer than I have. So I'm 35. He's maybe 40th, 41st year. Wow. He always thinks of everybody first. Still to this day, it's what can I do for you? Little things. And he's very successful. But he really cares. And I do too. It's like, I think people realize that you're authentic, you're real. And I think, that helps a lot too.
Up next, Neil Reich and how to build intentional value.
I mean, I think it always does. I think that, whatever you put into, you'll get out of it. But I think as you grow in the business and you've been around for a little bit longer, I think that, to maintain relevance, which I think that's what we want to do, right? We all want to stay relevant in the industry. And I think in terms of like doing that, I really attribute that to 3 things. One is knowledge. So really just making sure that you really understand the business. And I think that as an agent in the field or as an agency owner, just staying astute as to what is happening in the here and the now in the industry. And at the agent level, being able to articulate and convey to consumers the importance of a 5-star plan, or the importance of a chronic special needs plan, or the difference between Med Advantage and Med Sup, being able to do all that. So knowledge is one. I think the second one is sincerity. I think that at the end of the day, consumers, they're buying you, the agent. You're sharing a product with them, you're sharing benefits, but they're buying you. And I think that you have to be really sincere in your approach and listen, being patient and listening to the consumers and what their needs are. And then the last one would be talking about the experienced agent, right? Having that advisor mentality, providing solutions that are not just, hey, let me just enroll you on a Medicare Advantage plan or sell you a Med Sup plan, but what are the other needs that you have? Like being that advisor. And if they're on the right plan, let them know they're on the right plan. Go through that needs analysis and identify what their personal needs are and then make the recommendation to them. Again, don't try to sell them, just be that advisor and guide them and help them find the right solution for their personal needs.
Robert Rothschild taught us about adding spokes to your wheel.
think what happens to a lot of brokers is that they think of certain things to do, and they are working, like they are producing apps, and then they don't think of anything else. They're not willing to try other things. These things work. Okay, everything that you do is a spoke in a wheel. We've all heard that. A wheel does not run on one spoke, but it takes multiple spokes for the wheel to work.
Right.
And if you're doing 2 or 3 things, that's great. It's not a wheel.
I like that. I like that euphemism there. I don't think I've ever heard that one before. So thank you for that. I do think that that is true, not just probably in the insurance space, but I think we can get like that. We get comfortable and we don't want to reach outside of maybe our comfort zone or what we've always known, like say adding other products or anything like that. So I think that's a good piece of advice.
Yeah, if I could throw that out there, I think any broker that has ancillary products available to them that is not selling those 2 is making a mistake. I remember speaking to a broker one time and we were talking about final expense.
Okay.
And I said, how come you don't sell final expense? He said, well, I could just go out the next day and sell another Medicare plan. And I went, not to the same person.
That's very true.
And that's what it is. If you think about your book of business, even if you sold another product to about half of them, that's a lot of business that you're leaving out. And I don't know if anybody talks about this anymore, but when I started in insurance, there was a rule of 3. If you could sell somebody 3 products or more, you will never lose them as your client.
I do know
it's too many things for them to change at that point.
Yeah, they do say that the more policies that a person has with you, the more likely they are to stay with you. But I like calling it the rule of 3.
31 years ago, they called it the rule of 3.
Roy Snarr talked about more than just building the foundation for success in his episode.
Well, what's really nice is like if they already have like an active Medicare book, P&C book, or even just a general life insurance book, they can reduce their cost dramatically because they don't have to purchase a whole bunch of new leads or marketing systems. They already have an active client base. And so all they have to do is cross-market into their client base. And to save face, because let's take a Medicare agency, because we work with a lot of them, they say, well, I'm kind of reluctant to tell all my clients that, oh, now, by the way, we have long-term care, but I should have been helping with them before. I simply just didn't know. I said, well, the best way to do that is to say, hey, we've opened up a new division within our company to help service our clients and well-round everything, to explain to you what Medicare doesn't cover, right? That's the biggest draw. Hey, this is what your life insurance policy won't cover. This is what your Social Security won't do. This is what Medicare does not cover. Are you interested in learning about the gaps in the policies? Yes, I totally am, because all the agents, all they ever do is sell, oh, look at this death benefit, this living benefit rider. Okay, let's talk about what it doesn't do and see if that's a challenge for them. See if they have any actual stories themselves of going through a long-term care event or a market correction or a passing of a loved one, and how now that you've established the problem and that there's a need, then you come in with the solution and you offer people multiple different options. And that's how you get the business. So if they already have a pre-existing book, they just need to buff up on a few ways to introduce this new division of their firm. And then they themselves or somebody within their office needs to become a product expert in that. So if I have a Medicare agency and they want to cross-sell long-term care, either that agency owner or the individual agent within that agency has to become a product expert on long-term care. And it doesn't take long. I mean, within a week, just calling these carriers, getting all the information, you can get the foundation. And then that person just simply reaches out. Hey, by the way, hey, Susie, just want to say hi. Thank you for your Medicare business. By the way, there's some things that your plan doesn't cover. I'd like to go over those options with you just so that you're aware. We're just doing our job here to help best serve you. Sure. What does it not cover? And then you talk about long-term care and say, have you ever experienced it? Okay. What's your health like? What kind of assets do you have that can act like long-term care? And then you're already doing a financial fact finder. Say, well, let us work on this and show you a couple of solutions, and that may be of value to you. Okay, cool. That's it. The hard part is getting agents to do it. In this industry, agents are inherently lazy. And I get it, right? I mean, you are your own boss. It's like if they actually were to research and get some basic foundation and then implement it, Like we have literally seen multiple agencies and hundreds of agents actually start putting this together. And I give it away for free. I have all these free scripts that agents can download. Then they're starting to earn multiple six-figure incomes now because they're just simply asking questions.
And we will finish it out with Christian Brindle and his advice on leveling up from chill mode to growth mode.
Yeah, I think long term, it's a very valuable thing for agents to learn how to generate their own leads. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. Like I think when agents think about generating their own leads, it's a scary concept. And I think they think about themselves like designing some crazy website, that's ranking in Google searches. And no, it doesn't have to be that complicated. Like you could start doing seminars every couple of weeks. And advertising them yourself or working with a vendor to advertise them. Seminars are, I feel like, one of the most tried and true ways to grow your business, really. I think it's such a plug and play thing, right? It's efficient. You do one presentation for a mass group of people, and some are going to be interested, some aren't, but it's an efficient way to do it. You spend an hour presenting maybe, and it's almost like you've ran 25 appointments or 30 appointments or something like that. And so with seminars, like one thing we've seen some of our agents doing is like we have agents that do the dinner seminars and they do them very well, but they're expensive, right? Some agents, when they're starting out, it's tough to kind of afford that. Another thing they can do is like low budget seminars. So like I call them that because they're not as expensive. You find some kind of place, like for us in our area, like it works really well with libraries. Libraries either give you free meeting space, meeting rooms, or you can pay a small fee, like $50, $100, something like that. You don't feed them dinner. So basically your cost is to advertise. You get a list, you get a mailer, you mail it. And you might not get as many people as you would a dinner seminar. Like the dinner seminar is going to attract the plate lickers and things like that. You're going to get more people just naturally, but you'll get probably higher intent people. The people that show up for your library seminar genuinely want to know about Medicare. You know that for a fact. There's no other reason why they're there. They have no other motive. I think if an agent wanted to learn how to run Facebook ads, that's a great thing to do. I think it's probably a little trickier today than it has been in recent memory. I mean, I love learning how to run Facebook ads and learning digital marketing if you have a desire to do that, because if you really get it down, you really do control down to the T in most cases that I'm going to spend, let's say, $500 and I know for a fact I'm going to get this many leads once you've really got it down. It's like you're turning on a faucet in terms of lead flow coming, and you can start it, you can stop it. You have full control over the distribution of that lead flow. But there's so many different ways you can generate your own leads. And so I think for an agent, learning how to market themselves and learning some type of marketing that can allow them to generate their own leads and have that control, I think is really what separates the agents that go really far from the ones that don't.
Special thanks to Scott Zimmerman, Neil Reich, Robert Rothschild, Roy Snarr, and Christian Brindle. We will be linking to their interview episodes in the notes, so be sure to check those out. Also in the notes, the link to our episode featuring 5 tips for new insurance agents. Highly recommend sending that to your downline agents and maybe taking a listen yourself. Last but not least, we are booking guests for 2026. So if you would like to be a guest here on the Agent Survival Guide podcast, reach out. Our contact info is easy to find in the notes, and you can reach out to us via email or on our social accounts. Thanks for listening. We will see you next episode. The Agent Survival Guide podcast is a production of Ritter Insurance Marketing, an integrity company. Special thanks again to Scott Zimmerman, Neil Reich, Robert Rothschild, Roy Snarr, and Christian Brindle. This episode was recorded and produced by me, Sarah Ruppel. Podcast designed by Urban Rivera. Artwork by Tina Lamoureux.